Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. For some reason, this looks framed very weirdly. There we go. All righty. So we are going to be getting back into inking the Harley Quinn and Scarecrow piece from yesterday. So I will share that screen, and we can jump into that. Okay. I'm going to test something out really quickly because I'm still getting used to like the small intricacies behind StreamYard. Even though I've used StreamYard before, they have updated some things. And I want to see how big some of these banners are. Okay, that is a little bit too big. That covers up like half of it. So hide that. Off of there. We can go to comments. If any of you guys want to leave a comment or ask a question or anything, I am all ears. I always find it better to do a stream and have somebody to converse with, because otherwise I tend to ramble and end up doing pretty much just talking about what steps I'm taking in the drawing process, which can be interesting sometimes, but other times it just gets too much like it's a stream of consciousness thing. So if you have any questions or anything that you would like to chat about, then be sure to put that in the chat and we can go from there. Now let's make these. Okay. Now I see what was going on. I added all that extra stuff on there on a different layer. Okay. But not to fret. There we go. Alrighty. Actually, you know what I might try? No. If I put... I'm going to test something out here really quickly. And this is not going to be having anything to do with like the drawing itself. Do I want to try it? No. I'll have to actually look into that. I was going to see if I could put like some kind of like copyright-free music in the background so I don't get popped for anything. But I think that may just be something I need to do a bit more research on a little bit further on down the line. Right now, we can focus on actually getting into the drawing portion of this. Okay. So I think what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with the easiest part, which is going to be Scarecrow and like the upper part of his hat. Which could act... it's Scarecrow, so it can probably be something that's like... It doesn't need to be one clean line. It can be ragged. In fact, that probably fits his character even better. And if by some chance I happen to get this to a point where I'm actually coloring it, I'm going to try a different coloring style this time. Mainly because I may have learned a new way to get it to work um, where I don't need to do as much cross hatching, and the cross hatching is a pain in the butt for me. So any way that I can keep myself from having to do that, then I will take it. All right. Got that. Put a thinner line in there. And that line going down that side of his hat. All right. And then we can get in with the rips and the tears. All right. I may add some other ones in here as well. Some ones that weren't sketched before. Just to add some more visual variety in here. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, let's do this. Can have that sort of like it's almost like sewn together, but very poorly. There we go. And sorry, my phone was going off. I think I can add another. Wasn't meant to be a tear in his hat, but I can see it being one. That works. Then I think that should be good. I'll take care of this area right here. That way we can knock that out of the way. It's not going to be as thick of a line back there. What I'm finding sometimes is that if you can just knock something out really quickly, or just like get it out at the beginning, then that just means that there's less to do later on. And I have a feeling that inking Harley is going to take a bit longer than Scarecrow. And that may be solely because she is a female character, and I want my female characters to look nice and sexy. So, that's probably why. Who am I kidding? That's definitely why. Okay. Now let's get Scarecrow drawn up. First, we can start with the eyebrow. And the good thing is that this is sort of like a burlap sack type of material. So it can have like creases in it where there needs to be. So if I have it like that, then it works perfectly fine. And it doesn't need to be symmetrical, which is also a good thing. So I'll have that there. This part's going to come down almost like it's ripped. And I'm going for sort of like a sunken in skull underneath the burlap sack that has like cuts in it like a jack-o'-lantern. So a combination of various different um, creepy bits of imagery. All right. That's a bit too abrupt of a switch up. There we go. And I'm thinking like the parts in here, the stuff that's not the eyes would be entirely black. So it's sort of like looking into like the depths of someone's soul with no like light behind their eyes. All right. Got that. All right. Just a little bit more, and then we will have the first outer section of this eye done, for the inking at least. All right, that works. Except I need to have this filled in. Okay. That part's good. All right, so far that's looking all right for Scarecrow's face so far. Now we'll have the inner part of the eye. Which will be a little bit more chaotic. Like I said, it'll be sort of like it's like a sunken skull. All right, there we go. I can throw some stuff back here too. Just to sort of like open that space up as like having some sort of detail to it. Then we get to this side. Okay. So far, so good. It's coming along slowly but surely. I'm getting slightly more confident with my inking skills. But that also might be because it's not like a usual human face. It is Scarecrow, so I can just pretty much do stuff that just looks creepy. We'll see how my confidence holds up whenever I get down to Harley. Which that phrase sounds sounds weird, but I'm gonna accept it. Because Harley was like one of my childhood crushes, so my mouse is not working. Mariah the Magical says hi. Hello. I got there. Just turned on my AC, and I've needed it. It's like, I turned it off for like half of the day because it was starting to get a little bit too cold in here. And I turned it on like a half hour before I started the stream, and still sweating a little bit. Serves me right for not planning ahead. Like I said, guys, if you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about or ask me about, feel free to put it in the chat. Usually the streams go much more lively whenever I have someone to talk to and converse with. All right. So this portion of the eye seems like it's coming along quite nicely. Just trying to make this look like as grotesque as possible. That there. That part coming out from here. Again, sort of like it's like a sunken skull, or like sunken eyes inside of like a skull. Got that, which would carry over to not to that area, but it'll be enough to at least show that that's underneath the burlap sack. Whoop. Come on. My other computer was malfunctioning for a moment. Okay. So that looks good for the upper half of Scarecrow's mask. Now, let's go down to here. Where I would imagine that the sack would be like pulled taut. That part of his skull needs to go higher up. Because otherwise the hat would just be like floating above his head. So I need to make that slightly bigger. Yep, right there. All right. And I have that part. Now we get down to the mouth area, where we can get even more jagged with the lines, but still have some sense of control. There we go. All the way down to there. Where's the... Okay. This is one thing where I do need to work on it. The sketch phase does sometimes get too many lines in it for me to tell where exactly the end of it is supposed to be. So I just know like where the basic outline is going to be. And like all of the extra details get lost in translation. That's something that I think will come with time. But I can try my best to make it look presentable. Okay. Like how that looks. If it's sort of like it's like pulling the fabric apart. What was it? Because I have like something specific in mind. It's like, has anybody watched like what was it? I think it was like Scooby Doo and the Witch's Curse or something like that. It was like the first appearance of like the Hex Girls. And at the end of the movie, like one of the witch turns a pumpkin into like it turns a pumpkin into like a living pumpkin, and it has like a mouth that has like it's like the two bits of it are like still connected somewhat. I may be misremembering it and just um, adding more horrific details in my imagination, but that's what I'm thinking whenever I'm drawing this. Or no, no, no. Okay, this one's probably a bit more accurate. Um, for anybody who's watched like the 1990s Spider-Man animated series, there was an intro where I think it was Carnage and Venom who were like fighting back and forth between like trying to like pull Peter Parker into like their mouths, and the visual of like the Venom symbiote like pulling apart, that's sort of like what I want to have drawn here with Scarecrow's mouth, because it looked delightfully creepy, and it was like a nightmare sequence, so that made it even more creepy. And this is Scarecrow, so he's supposed to be creepy. Um, yes, right there. Okay. Got that part. Yep. And now we get into drawing the teeth, which all of this part in here, but between the teeth is going to be like pitch black. It's going to sort of be like the Scarecrow design from the new Batman Adventures, where he's sort of more like skeletal rather than Scarecrow. And I love that design because it looks so delightfully creepy. No, teeth would go this way with the gums. I need to switch how that looks. There we go. Okay. And now up top. And And you wouldn't see like the what is it? The crown of the tooth, I guess you would say, on the upper part because his head is angled downwards. So that just makes this part even easier. Another benefit of Scarecrow is I don't have to be entirely accurate with where the teeth go. They can literally just be anywhere. So if I wanted to, I could say it's like the effects of the fear toxins that he has, just making it look like his teeth are this way. And I think, what was I going to say? I had something in my head and then I completely forgot it. That's just lovely. What was it? I was going to say something, but then it just immediately popped out of my head. Oh, yeah. This would be a good example of what I say is like the rule of cool in comics. And that's not my phrasing for it. That's pretty much something that you could ask any like artist and they'll automatically say like rule of cool supersedes accuracy most of the time. So there's a lot of times why you'll see stuff that looks deliberately unrealistic because sometimes realistic punches and fight scenes and stuff that you would see in comics are not the most interesting things. So if you add that little bit of pep to it, you add the rule of cool, then it just makes it pop out more on the page. And it's just like, this looks epic. I think he needs another tooth right around here. Yeah, right about there. Cool. All right. And let's do the noose that he has here. Okay. And you know what? I think that probably this might be an instance where I do need to do at least a little bit of cross hatching to make this stand out a little bit better. Or I can just make it look a little bit more rugged. Just adding a little bit of inking. So a lot of times I'll see some artists just draw like ropes with just one straight color through it rather than having the lines on it. But I feel like this needs more. I think this one might need some parts to make it stand out. Yeah, it did. Just not too much, because then that'd be taking away from the rest of the inking. It just needed to have something to make it look more coarse. Although, yeah, let's keep doing that. For a second there, I was second guessing myself. But there's all different types of of rope. So I guess this could just be one that's like very thick and very tightly wound. And it doesn't take away from the Scarecrow mask, so that's good. And cut away. Nope. Too far up. There we go. Okay. And throw on some more lines there. Some more there. And there's that side. Now I can move on to the other one. I think this one should be at least a little bit more well contained. It's not as thick as the other side, I think. Got that. The last one needs a little bit of redo. I see some people popping up in the view count. So hello, everybody. Today, we're drawing, or we're inking this piece. Just so I'm not scrolled in and seeing this monstrosity here the entire time. Figured I'd zoom out and give you guys a look at the full piece, at least every once in a while. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. Just gonna be a nice chill stream. I think I'm gonna try next time to see if I can find like a couple hour long playlist of like some royalty free music that I can put on in the background, just so that in the case of me needing some some time to really like hunker down and just, that might be too thick. I learn from it for next time. All right. So where was I? In the case of me just needing to hunker down and just like really focus on a part, then I can just put on the music and you guys can enjoy that rather than listening to me not saying anything. So that may be in the cards for next time. We'll see. Okay, now we can spruce up the sides here. Or I guess not spruce it up. It'd be more making it like weathered. So there we go. Now my goal is to get maybe like 75% of the way through this, and maybe just have like a couple things left. It'll really depend on how long this stream goes, or how long I feel like still sitting here. But I know I want to get Scarecrow finished up. Harley will definitely take more time, mainly because I'm very particular with how I want female characters to look. So I will devote more attention to her. All right. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. This part I know is very tedious. I'm just going through and just randomly. It's not even like fully cross-hatching. It's just like adding little tiny lines to these areas just to make it look like it's less clean, I guess you can say. But it does help with the details. Got that going. I'm trying to make it so that it's not entirely consistent. Just so it has that like extra bit of gruff gnarliness to it. Okay. I'm okay with that. You guys are going to love me for this part. It's going to be even some more of it. And looping up there. Whoa. Redo. Don't get caught up. There we are. Okay. Okay, this part needs to have a little bit of a curve on there. How do I want to do these? I'm gonna do it. You guys can hate me, because I'm gonna subject you to a little bit more of the gnarly scribbly scratch. But tell you what, I'll make it up to you, because once I'm done with this part of the scribbly scratch, then I'll move on to a bit of Harley. Give you a little bit, something a little bit more appealing to look at than just this rope. I was missing something. There we are. Okay. Once I finish up this area, I'll jump down to Harley. You guys have earned it. Okay. There we go. Much more appealing than the Scarecrow. Okay, so where are we gonna start with this? Let's start with the ear part. No. Let's start with this part. That there. And that needs to be a tiny bit thicker so that she can actually stand out. I think I may have made this pen a bit too small. There we go. That's much better. A little bit of a blend there. Okay. And then there. And there. Okay. So now that area is done, now I can add the ear parts, or whatever these are called on a jester outfit. Okay. That on there. That around. It needs to go all the way there. Okay. I think for this, I don't know why I thought that those were fluffy for some reason, but I think I may have been thinking like Christmas time stuff. So this is just going to be a regular size and textured circle. Which I am okay with. And the same with this. But I don't want it to have too thick of an outline because I don't want it to take away from the focus from the other stuff. Okay. And now... Sorry, I'm trying to think of what I want to do next. I can outline this side of her face. And I'll just cut through the eyelashes because they're going to be black anyways. And that goes behind her shoulder. There. Okay, that works. That thin, because that does not need to be that noticeable. Okay. Nope. Just had to make that a little bit more consistent. Okay. So now let's start with the domino mask. And since the domino mask covers her eyebrows, I need to use that as the way of her expressing her emotions. So this is sort of like more like the concerned look. And again, my mouse is not working. There we are. Hello, welcome back. Glad to see you again. Okay. So let's have this go down here. I'll have it cut through where I think I'm going to have like maybe like teardrops running down. And if I want to go that direction, then I'll have it, then I'll draw over top of that. Or I'll have it be, yeah, if I decide to go that route, then I'll just draw, I'll erase that area and I'll just draw over it. Okay. And then this line will just go straight over. Whoop. Needs to be a slight divot. There we go. Then we can take care of the inside of this part. Yeah, I'm not deviating too far from that. Yes, I am right in the middle of line arting it. So far, I have Scarecrow, like at least the mask part done. I took a break from doing like the rope because it was getting extremely tedious, and I did not want to subject anybody in the chat to watching me go over that for 10 minutes at a time. So I decided to switch over to Harley for a little bit, give you something a little bit more appealing to look at. Okay. The I'm gonna try to do this. Normally, I'd wait until the end to do all of the complicated stuff, but I figure why not give it a shot. At least this way she'll look like she's actually emoting. I think this is what the problem is. If I put that there, that would go out here. Okay. That there. Yeah. Yep. That's what I needed to do. And that is too big. I'm still learning some parts of the curvature of the face and how they work. So Harley is one that would have like a lot of like eyeliner. So I'm gonna give her that. She would have that. She would have a lot up here. So fill out the eyelash. There we go. Make a thin line for that little like divot right above where your eyelid would be. And then we can move on to this one. One of these days, I might try to do like a stream that's just focused on working on like eyes, because I feel like that's something that I could definitely use some practice on and some improvement on. And my problem, partially, is that there's so many ways to draw eyes that it really depends on like it really depends on my mood, because there's some times that I want to like draw it simplistically, like what you would see in like animation. And then there's other times where I think it would look better if there was like some more detail to it. So that may end up being something that I try out, of like just a stream that's focused on eyes. Although that might be boring for you guys. I might just do that in my own spare time. We'll have to see. All right. Now, since I know that these are going to be black, what I'll do is I'll add that there. Fill in those areas. I'll leave the middle of the eye white for now, because I might need to add some more. I may need to add some more to that. Enter that there and there. I don't know why I did that little separate thing, because that's going to cover it up anyways. Oh, I need to do the middle. Look at me forgetting a vital part. Okay. I'm okay with that. And now we can jump into the nose. Does not need to be that thick. Okay. I think that should be all right. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And now the last part of her face is the mouth. So let's try to make this look good. For this part, I was almost trying to do almost like an Ed Benez type of mouth. I'm not sure if it turned out the best way for like Harley. I think there needs to be something there. Okay, I'm all right with that. And I'm okay with that. Do I need a shadow here? I think that actually looks better this way. Yeah, I like that. I like that better than just having like just the teeth there. right. So it looks like the face is mostly done when it comes to inking. Oh, goodness gracious. And I'm going to try something. No, don't do it yet. So I want her to have like glossy lips. Okay, that might work for now. We'll see whenever we get to the coloring stage. Oh, goodness. All right. All right, since this is right behind her head, I'm going to work on the mallet for a little bit. All right, coming down from here. There we go. Thankfully, this won't be as tedious as the as drawing the rope on Scarecrow. My draw with the shoulder, not with the wrist. There we go. Slightly better. Okay. Got that going on. Let's get that going down there. Okay. You know, it's late in the evening when you start to hear the bugs bumping against the window. This needs a little bit of a lighter touch. Get that going there, and come on. I'm not sure what the yi is for, but okay. Whenever I hear ye, I automatically think of like, hear ye, all citizens of the Roman Empire. Okay. I don't know why it automatically goes to all you citizens of the Roman Empire. Maybe that's from like, I don't know. Whenever I was a kid and I had history classes. All right. Thankfully, this, like I was saying, it's not as tedious as drawing the rope on Scarecrow. So that part is good. Is YouTube your mainstream of money? I am not even close to that point. I make no money off of YouTube. I'm not even close to monetization. As of right now, I have like maybe 270 something. So, unless that picks up a lot in the next couple weeks or months, then I'm nowhere close to having YouTube as my mainstream of money. I would love it to be. So share out my channel to any of your friends who you think would like it. But I'm nowhere close to it right now. And even then, I think it would need like way more than just like the like lowest level for monetization. Like if I was doing stuff with like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, then I think that would be, even that wouldn't be sustainable. So what I would probably do is if I got a consistent audience that would be like always coming to streams or watching the videos, then I would judge whether there's interest in doing like commissions or anything like that, or maybe putting out like a longer term art project, and um doing that while I wait to grow that audience. But that's way further on down the line. I have the problem of having far too many ideas of stuff to do, and either not having the um, confidence in my own skills to pull off said project, or not having the time to do so. Like for the longest time, I have wanted to draw a lot of stuff, but whenever I would sit down to actually draw it, um, I would freeze at like the blank page, because what I would have in my head would be far above what I know that my skill level is. So I would always stop myself before actually even starting it, which sucks whenever you want to make good art. But it's something that plagues a lot of artists, unfortunately. Ideally, if I'm able to get my art skill to a point where I'm able to put stuff out consistently, and I'm able to finish it and have it look good, and like have other people say that it's good, then I could see myself maybe putting out like like a comic or something, or a graphic novel maybe. It really depends on like the time and the interest on both sides. So I could be as interested as I can imagine, but if there's not like an interest on like you guys' side, then it would be pointless for me to do that. Um, that's one of the reasons why it would. There was a what was it? It's like a little nugget of wisdom that I heard years ago. I think it was from John Malin. He's a former Marvel artist. Was it Marvel? I think it was Marvel. And he is doing his own comics, like his own crowdfunded comics. And one of the things that he had mentioned to creators at the time, whenever like Comicsgate and crowdfunded comics and like a sort of rebirth of the indie comic space started coming around, he had said to build up your platform on like YouTube, Twitter, wherever you can get a platform, and focus on doing that first before putting out a comic or really any project. Because if you don't have that platform, then you're not going to get any eyes on your project. And it makes sense because if you look at like another guy that I have followed for a long time is Moist Critical Charlie, and also know him as Penguin Z0. He does like a lot of um, not pop culture, but like just like commentary on like current events nowadays. And sometimes he does pretty much everything. And I've been following him since he was doing like the gameplay and commentary videos and wasn't showing his face. And he put out I think he's still putting out a comic called God Slap, I want to say, and it's actually put out. It it's earned a decent amount of money, and that I don't think it's crowdfunded. So it's something that whenever you have like that big of a subscriber base and people that follow you, if you put out something, then you're pretty much guaranteed to make money off of it. And I'm hoping, praying to God, that I'll eventually be able to reach like that point. Now, I don't have nearly the amount of ego that I should whenever it comes to that stuff because there's always that little bit where it's like you're looking at a goal and you're like, I want to get there, but I don't know if I can. And I'm going to try like hell to get there. But then there's also the part of you that's like realistic. And then you're like, but you need to prepare just in case that doesn't happen. So I've found that, at least me personally, I always prepare for like the worst outcome of something, and sometimes I feel like that gets in my way a lot. But whenever I do look at stuff that way, it sometimes works out in my favor because if I look at something and I prepare for the worst, then I can be delightfully surprised whenever good stuff happens. And right now, honestly, um, some of my videos have where the hell is this? Okay, that's going off a bit. Some of my videos have been taking off, so I'm moving on an upward trajectory, and I'm liking where I'm heading. I just need to keep pushing myself to do like these art streams and um and continuing to improve on this stuff. Cuz like a lot of YouTube gurus and like those guys who are like, "Oh, well, we've grown 75 channels to over 1 million subscribers in a month." And it's like those guys I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? They would usually say like if you try to improve like 1% each time you work on something, then you're gonna be constantly improving. And I'm gonna try to keep doing that with like whenever I'm putting out videos, and I'm also um, making these art projects. So hopefully I'll get to a point where I am able to make money off of my art and also off of YouTube. But I'm not going into it expecting it, if that makes sense. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too long of an answer to your question. Okay. Okay, what do I want to do next? I think since I'm over here, I might as well do this part. And this can look all grimy because it's meant to just be like paint that's smeared on here. All right. Now our Lapex Q6P. Since I know that you've been on here with both of your accounts, what do you actually want me to call you? Is it just like our Lapex, or what would you prefer? If you are still in the chat, by the way. Okay. Come on, it's too early for my eyes to be going all squinty. Alright, what I think I'll do is, whenever I finish up this part of the mallet, I'll go back to the Scarecrow part, and then I'll get that finished up, get all the boring parts out of the way. Okay, throw that in here. Oh, goodness, excuse me. One of my pipe dreams for this channel is, whenever I get quicker and more confident with my art, is just to have like, I do have like a mailbox over here. I replaced the one that I originally had, and I figured it would be interesting to keep the one that I had before as like something I could pull out like on stream and like reach into it and pull out like a random prompt. Um, that's something that I could see happening later on down the line. Maybe after I quicken myself a bit. Okay. So. Okay, that was all the grimy shit. Okay. That's what the difference was. For a second there, I was confusing myself with my own scribbles. Okay. So let's start at the bottom. And since this is smaller area, it's going to be less boring, I guess. Right. Figures. Right whenever I go back to the boring part, that's whenever people start coming back into the chat. What do you guys want? Do you guys want me to continue on this part, or do you want me to work more on Harley? I am leaving it up to you. All right, got that. So 2 down, 3 to go. I can totally see why drawing comics takes so long, especially if you have a semi-realistic art style. Lol, no, it was not. What was not? I'm slightly lost. Sort of like I'm jumping into a conversation that I am, like, right in the middle of. Alright. I hate how the mouse still shows up on the screen. There's a way to change that. Maybe in, like, the... I don't know if that'd be StreamYard that would be causing that, or if that's the screen share. Might have to look into that. Alright, thankfully this area... Oh, you must be very far behind on the stream. Our Lapex. Okay. I will continue calling you that then. Yeah, our Lapex, you must be very far behind in the stream, because that was like 5-10 minutes ago, I think. All right. So, since people are jumping back into the chat, I think I am going to jump back over to Harley. Like I said, give you guys something more interesting to look at. Where this is the one part of inking a sketch that I don't like, is trying to figure out what line I should be inking. Like, especially the shoulder area. There we go. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. There we go. I got an itchy neck. Okay. Slowly but surely. And we have that, which also needs inked. Not sure if I'm going to get this whole thing done today, guys, but I'm going to try to get as much of it done as possible. And one thing I do know is that I'm not going to get to color it today. That may be another day, depending on how I feel about it. See, my thing is that you're locked in, I see. Yes, I am. It's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes I do just like zone out, and it's part of the reason why I'm thinking about, at least for the next draw stream, getting like a royalty-free, copyright-free compilation of music that I can just put on in the background, just in case I do end up like zoning out. But that's still up for debate at the moment. I may do that, I may not. We'll see. Because then I have to be focusing on several things. If there's commercials on that, then I need to reach over there, turn that off. It's a whole spiel. And you say, I don't know. I don't know what part of the stream you're on, Art Apex. Okay, you are definitely. Okay, give me a moment. All right, let's see if that popped up. Yeah, I think you. I'm guessing that you're probably at the whenever I asked you if you wanted me to do Scarecrow or Harley, which yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah. So yeah, you were probably you probably left the stream at one point and then came back and it wasn't on like the live section. So you were probably delayed by like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. No, you're not dumb. You're not dumb. Trust me, it happens to the best of us. Yeah, I was wondering why you were putting in some like nonsensical um messages in there, and I was like, what is he talking about? That was like, oh, that's probably why. You're not on the live section. Don't worry, it happens to everybody at some point. Sometimes it's just the internet being dumb, sometimes it's just human error, and we can't control that. That no. Oh, okay. No, I didn't. I was in stream the whole time and probably misclicked. Okay. Huh. Well, YouTube is always, there's always something going on. Okay, that looks fine. All right. But I was wondering why my newer chats you weren't seeing. Well, by the time that I was seeing them, it was 5 minutes in the future. But I'm glad we got that sorted out. Did my long-winded explanation about the um, YouTube monetary system satisfy you? There we go. Yes, awesome. Yeah, this is why I like when you guys ask me questions about stuff, and it gives me something to talk about and sometimes ramble a bit as I whack myself in the face with my own microphone. Um, all right, what do I want to do next? It gives me something to take my focus off of just trying to have some sort of noise going on. That that does not look good. That looks like way too big of a forearm. No. That's more like it. Okay. And since I have that arm out of the way, there we go. Sometimes drawing the boob can be easy, sometimes drawing it can be difficult. Because you don't want it to be squished unnaturally. What is that? Sorry, I had to see why my phone was buzzing. Okay. Put that on there. No. That's more like it. Sometimes even just like the slightest curve makes the biggest difference. Okay. And this is where I want that to come out. Sort of like this is where the rib cage would be. There, and there. I'm guessing this is Yo W Art. by Koki.8. Thank you. You a comic artist? I work on some art that could be for comics, but it's not like for official comic books. So it's like I'm an artist and I work on stuff that could be for comic books, but it's not for an actual comic book. Obviously, because I'm drawing Harley Quinn and I'm nowhere near DC quality. So, long-winded answer to your question, but I hope to be an official comic artist someday. And R Apex says, what brush do you use for the start of an artwork, and what do you use to get your line art, and what is your opacity? Easy answer. I'll show you. So I have my own set that I pulled from like various other like the generic ones that come with Procreate, and some other ones that I've bought from like packs that other artists sell. And I've made some of like my own modifications to make them work best for me. But whenever it comes to like the generic ones, this I forget what exactly this one was before I renamed it, so I would know which one to use. But there's like the loose sketch one that doesn't have the line snapping to it. So I'm just drawing all of this stuff. And it's just following the Apple Pencil exactly. And then with the ink brush, it sort of curves to like a more smooth line rather than it being all jagged. And that's something that I think works best for inking. When it comes to opacity, usually all of the brushes are 100% opacity. I usually only change the sketch layers, and I change those to a lower opacity so that I can ink over them. So, hopefully that is an adequate answer for you. And Koki.8 says, I see. If there was ever a comic with your art, I'd read it. Not gonna lie. You're too kind. I am still working on improving my art. I'm most comfortable working on like pinup art, but whenever it comes to sequential art, I can do it in like short bursts. It's something I want to work on improving, and hopefully at some point I'll get to that point. What you're seeing here is quite rare for me, and I haven't done it, I'm going to be honest, quite this well in a long time. Mainly because I've started to actually draw things in like a 3D perspective. So like taking a quick look at like Harley's hands, there's like I would try to draw it like how I would see like the lines and just like laying the lines down on the page rather than drawing the fingers as cylinders. And that was throwing me off horribly. But now that I have figured out that little trick, I guess, then hopefully it'll keep improving and it'll become easier. And Koki.8 says, well, I've got a blast. I did subscribe, though. Thank you. Always appreciate you subscribing. I'd see you also have some useful videos on your channel. I'll be watching those soon. See ya. Thank you very much. Every little bit helps. Um, I do have some like fiction writing tutorials and like my thoughts on fiction writing videos on my channel. Those are from a while back. I also have a what else do I have? I have some Procreate tutorials on there. I think it's like there's like a how to draw comics in Procreate and like how to import fonts and brushes into Procreate. Those are definitely older videos, but they seem to be popping off now. So that may be an instance of evergreen content, which I do need to make some more videos like that. Maybe I'll do like I'll do an updated one of that and make it with more decent art and put what I've learned to better use. I mean, WS. What exactly does the WS stand for? Because like whenever you came in, what was it? Whenever you came in, you said WSP. I don't know what that stands for. I'm okay with that. And then for this part I'm gonna have to ad lib a little bit. So okay. I am okay with how that turned out. Okay, now what part do I want to work on? Oh, before I got sidetracked, I was working down here. Um do I want that line? I don't think I want that line. I think you know which line I'm talking about. This one right here. There we go. Okay. Get this part of her spine drawn. And this time I can overlap a tiny bit. Excuse me. Because it'll almost be like she's like pushing her butt up. And our Lapex says, I used to use Procreate until my iPad broke, and now I'm trying Adobe Fresco. I've only heard briefly about Adobe Fresco. How is it? My main thing with Procreate is that it's not like a subscription service. So that automatically puts it above like Adobe products. Although honestly, the subscription part of Adobe is like the only part of Adobe that I hate. Because it's really great software. It just whoever's in charge of Adobe is just greedy. All right. Now I can try and get this part of her legs done. Oh, you know what other software I've heard about is, what is it? I forget what the name of it is. I think it's Krita. That's one that I haven't tried, but I think I might give it a shot just to see what all the hubbub is. That one might be something where it might be worth it to even just do it as like um just try it as like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to say this. Even just try it for like a video just to have like, I tried this and see how the end product looks. Our Apex says it's great for a free app. It might great, but on iPad, I don't know if there's money for Adobe Fresco, but on laptop is free and great. But Procreate, it's money on laptop. Okay, yeah. I know that Procreate's a one-time purchase. I do know that. I don't know about Adobe Fresco because I haven't looked into it. Although you're saying that Adobe Fresco is a free app? Sorry, my analytics brain is coming in here. All right, give me a second, guys. Okay. Yes, on laptop. Yes, on laptop. I don't know if it's free on iPad. That might be worth looking into. But yeah, I know that Krita is free on the laptop. So our Lapex, are you using like a stylus pen, or are you using the mouse to draw? Just out of curiosity. Because I gotta say, if you're using the mouse to draw, then I salute you, sir. I had to do that whenever I was back in college, and I would not want to do that ever again. It's a pain in the ass. Apple Pencil is at 20%. Okay. All right. I can probably unplug that. Alrighty. So, nope. Oh, you are using a stylus pen. Okay. You are smart then. Because, like I said, I would not be. If I had to use a mouse for my art nowadays, then I would not be doing art. I'd be sticking to just writing. Okay, let's see how much there is in here. Okay, it's 20%. How much do I still have to do? Let's finish up this. All right. And I think what I'm gonna do, since I forgot something. I forgot the diamonds on her forearm. I knew I was gonna forget one of those areas. That one is entirely my fault because I drew them over top of a lot of sketch work. Okay, so after I am done with these diamond shapes on her arm, I'm going to finish up these parts of Scarecrow's rope, and then I'm going to call it a night. Because the old Apple Pencil is telling me it may be time to hang it up for at least this stream. Now, whether I finish up inking this on another stream or if I decide to start another project, it really depends on my mood over the next couple of days. I do want to try to do some make some art specifically for like videos, and I do have a lot of those ideas that I would have to get done at some point. So it may be a new sketch entirely next time you pop into a stream. It really depends on what I'm feeling like during that day. But, as I said earlier, if I'm improving just 1% each time, then there will still be an improvement. How about to share your art using Discord? That's not really something I've considered. I do have an Instagram account that I occasionally share my finished art on. I did share some sketches on there, but I do want to share like the finished stuff. So at some point, if this is a piece that I end up finishing, then I will probably either share it on X or on Instagram. Isn't Discord like? Isn't it like you have to have like a pre-established community? I never pictured it as like an art sharing platform. Although, if I'm reading it entirely wrong, please tell me. Oh, some of those are very thick. Okay, tone it down for the next one. You could make one and make it art type. But does it have to have, do you have to have like an established community? Because if I am just doing it like, if I'm just making one and just posting out into like the netherworld, then I would probably just do it on like X or Instagram. I feel like if I had like a bigger following, then I could see myself maybe doing like a Discord. It's just up until now, I haven't really had to think about it. No, you could share your link with people and maybe put it on your channel and people could join the server. Huh. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I will. I'm not going to commit to anything right now, but I will look into it. One thing I will have to do is just make sure that I'm still like, I'll need to actually finish some art first and do that on a consistent basis. But I will look into it. Let's finish up this part, and then I'll actually call it a day. I'm not going to put as much stuff into this area. Okay. I think this should be enough for this area. I don't want to draw too much attention to it since it's not like close enough to the head where it would actually need to draw attention. So this can work all right. Maybe add some variety in there, but not too much. Okay. I'll throw in a couple lines every once in a while. Put that there, that there. And I'll throw some more lines up here so it sort of blends in more with this upper part. Okay. I keep seeing things that I can do ever so quickly. Like this part. That's easy enough. Okay. So, again, I keep seeing things that are just begging me to finish them because they're so easy to do in a short amount of time. Throw that in there, get that wood grain going. And then there's still a decent amount left to do. So that can either wait until I have recharged my Apple Pencil or work on it on another stream. We shall see. But regardless, I will show you guys what the progress is if I do decide to work on it off stream. If I don't, then you'll see the next piece. I will try and finish this one up though, because I do like how this has turned out so far. Excuse me. I've been going at this for about 2 hours and almost 15 minutes, so my brain is slightly mush. There we go. Trying to put this away. And now I need to stretch. Oh, good Lord. Okay. All right. So I'll give you guys just a little quick close up. So we finished up Scarecrow's face, or his, like, I guess his mask. That part is all done. Finished up Harley's face. Still trying to decide if I want to have like tears coming down, like she'd be like afraid of Scarecrow. I mean, who wouldn't be? Finished up Harley's mallet. Most of her body. Still have to work on the hands. Actually, while I'm doing this, I can have this charging a little bit because it's going to be charged. It's going to be charging whenever I end the stream, anyways. So, what I will do is close out of that. And I think this will be the promotional part of the stream. Give me 1 second to pull something up. So, so earlier you guys were asking if I'm a comic artist, and I said that I'm not a comic artist, but I do happen to know some comic creators, and one that I follow a lot is, get off of there, is, if I can pull this screen up. Yep. One that I follow a lot is Genuine Comics. And this is a creator by the name of Dave Brink. He runs Genuine Comics. He puts out fantastic work. He is a writer, And whenever he partners up with some artists to put out a comic book, he does not disappoint one bit. He has put out the series called Perfect 10. It just finished up a 6-issue run, and all of them were crowdfunded books. They are top tier quality comic books. Great story, great art, and this is the next comic in the Genuine Comics universe. It's called Safeguard Pandemonium. And I'm going to scroll down here so you can see some of the art. The artist for this book is Alan Goldman. You can see his cover here. And while we're here, I might as well go over this story for you. So it's a 32-page full-color action-adventure superhero comic, and the first issue of a 3-part series. When demonic forces erupt inside Grand Capital's Hall of Antiquities, the 7 heroes of Safeguard are called into action. Faced with a supernatural force beyond their understanding, the team must protect innocent people and contain the threat before it spreads through the city. And on here, this character right here is 10 from the Perfect 10 series. It's sort of like a continuation of her story and Safeguard's story, because both her and the team appear in her series. So this is sort of a continuation of that. And here's a cover by Pau Rodrigues. He is the artist for the Perfect 10 series. Great artist. If I could draw like him, I would be so happy. There's the wraparound cover by Alan Goldman. They are a limited run, so if you do go and get that, last time I checked into a stream with Dave, I think they were sold through about half of those. And then you have the pencil edition of Safeguard. If you want to see Alan Goldman's pencils in just their virgin state, there's not any inks, there's not any text, it is just his pencils, and it is stunning how good this is. And then we have the back cover. That one is by Pau Rodrigues. We have preview pages. You can see the detail immediately. Some more preview pages. And unfortunately, there has to be some censor bars, solely because of Kickstarter not letting us have our fun. But it's all still gorgeous art. This is a character called Wisp. She is absolutely lovely. She has very long hair that she can use for fighting. And that is all of Safeguard right there. There's the pencil art. And some other parts that weren't colored earlier. And if you want to, you can also go and follow Alan Goldman on YouTube and Tiago Gomez on YouTube. But yes, definitely go and support Genuine Comics on Kickstarter. He also is on... He has also posted his campaigns on Fund My Comic, and I believe... Did he do an Indiegogo campaign for this? I can't honestly remember. I know he did a Fund My Comic one. But right now he's doing the Kickstarter. So go and support him on Kickstarter. You do not want to miss out on this if you love comics, because this is a perfect combination of great art and great story. So definitely go and check that out. It has my full endorsement. Alrighty. So, with that all being said, I am still letting my Apple Pencil recharge. This has been a very productive stream, I must say. Our Lapex says, "Well, see ya. Maybe in your next stream. Good luck." Um, yeah, I'll try and decide if I want to finish up this Harley piece or Harley and Scarecrow piece in the next stream, or if I want to fiddle around with it off stream. I do know that I want to test out a different coloring style, but that may take a little bit of time to actually get to that point. So we'll see. It really depends. 1% each time. So we'll see. Thank you guys all for stopping by. It was very fun. If you would, please leave a like down below. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe. Every little bit counts. And if you're over on Rumble, follow me there as well. I'm trying to grow both platforms, YouTube and Rumble, at like the same time. And the live streams definitely help with that. So, like I said before, every little bit counts. Thank you all who have already done so, and thank you all for stopping by and carrying on a conversation with me, and thus far enjoying my art. I wouldn't have been able to do it without all of you guys. So I will see all of you in the next stream or the next video, whichever one comes first. See you guys.